Don't hold on to someone who's leaving, or you won't meet the one who's coming. What did you do as a child that made the hours pass like minutes? Herein lies the key to your earthly pursuits. Depression is like a woman in black. If she shows up, don't shoo her away. Invite her in, offer her a seat, treat her as a guest, and listen to what she wants to say. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic be alcohol or morphine, or idealism. Knowledge rests not upon truth alone, but upon error also. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. When an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate. If one does not understand a person, one tends to regard him as a fool. Masses are always breeding grounds of psychic epidemics. Man's task is to become conscious of the contents that press upward from the unconscious. Resistance to the organized mass can be effected only by the man who is as well organized in his individuality as the mass itself. Shrinking away from death is something unhealthy and abnormal, which robs the second half of life of its purpose. The wine of youth does not always clear with advancing years, sometimes it grows turbid. Follow that will, and that way, which experience confirms to be your own. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Whatever is rejected from the self appears in the world as an event. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. The greatest tragedy of the family is the unlived lives of the parents. The best political, social, and spiritual work we can do is to withdraw the projection of our shadow onto others. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego, the second half is going inward and letting go of it. Maybe the only thing each of us can see is our own shadow. I must also have a dark side if I am to be whole. We meet ourselves, time and again, in 1,000 disguises, on the path of life. If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. The true leader is always led. The world will ask you who you are, and if you do not know, the world will tell you. That which you most need will be found where you least want to look. Where your fear is, there is your task. A particularly beautiful woman is a source of terror. As a rule, a beautiful woman is a terrible disappointment. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. The word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. In all chaos, there is a cosmos, in all disorder, a secret order. It all depends on how we look at things, and not how they are in themselves. The pendulum of the mind alternates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. Children are educated by what the grown-up is, and not by his talk. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Man needs difficulties, they are necessary for health. There is no such thing as a pure introvert or extrovert. Such a person would be in the lunatic asylum. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Often, the hands will solve a mystery that the intellect has struggled with in vain. Neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. Show me a sane man, and I will cure him for you. The least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it.